Rival House Network.
And don't like the brags, I don't like the boast. They like hot butter on the breakfast toast. Watching flicks, talking chicks, I like to motorboat. Can Riverman make it, yo, a check? Nope. So look at all these movies I got. Commenting like, should we watch them or not? And I know they just be acting for cash, but I still got one question to ask. Like, why'd he do that, do that, do that? If that was me, I'd be like, screw that, screw that, screw that. I'm an alpha, I'd eat through that, through that, through that. So why'd he do that, do that, do that?
Howdy gang, BTM commentary. We're back again. It's Zach and myself. This time we got a guest and our buddy Goat. Goat, why don't you introduce yourself and where you're from, just for folks that don't know. People that didn't catch Zach on your show, I think it was like a month ago.
Yeah. I think maybe a tiny sliver of like the super old school fans will maybe know who I am, because I used to be associated back with the tail end of the exploited cinema, but done a few other things too, like Hillbilly DVD Reviews YouTube channel, and then the last, since 2015, kind of off and on been doing this Movie Graveyard podcast, which Zach was a humble guest on. He brought the critters goodness to our show, so we appreciate that.
Hell yeah, we all incest. We all fucking with each other. Like our boy Corey G was a big part of Movie Graveyard too.
Yeah, about the first 20, 25 episodes or so, yeah, before he dropped out of the podcasting game, so yeah.
And that whole 6 degrees of Corey G blows my fucking mind always. It's ridiculous.
It is. Well, you know what's even, I'll take it even way crazier back. Before Corey G ever did anything like on his own like podcasting, I knew who Corey G was because I used to listen to this show called Profondo Cinema that would just take like voicemails. So every now and then I would like, call in, leave a voicemail, and Corey would do the same. So I knew who Corey was from like back then.
I thought you were going to say you're his lucha mask dealer.
No.
No, but it blows me away. He literally is a canker sore that just gets passed around from everybody. Everybody's had it at some point. But we'll talk more about all that stuff. Let's go ahead and roll the movie. What we're going to watch tonight is Xtro, and the story behind our pick of Xtro is we were originally going to do biosploitation. And it was biopic or biopic, whoever you are, however you say it. And that's what it was the whole time. And then Zach literally tells me, wait a minute, is this biopic? I'm like, yeah, man, that's what we've been alluding to the whole time. We're talking about La Bamba and all this bullshit. He's like, I thought it was bio. Like, I already asked Gold if you want to do Xtro. I'm like, we could do that kind of bio horror if you want to. So shifting lanes for this month, we're going to stick to bio horror because Zach fucked up. And Goat was interested. But it's cool because this movie's very interesting and it's one that we have talked about doing in the past. But we're not going to waste too much more time. We're going to go and get started. Zach,
right when it fades in, it says Amalgamated Film Enterprises presents and New Line Cinema presents or whatever. We pause as soon as it fades in.
Okay.
Yep.
And we're all going to start in 3, 2, 1, play.
Hell yeah. This movie fucked me up as a kid.
Oh, hey, I'll say really quick, guys, if anybody out there doesn't have a copy of this, which I wouldn't blame you, they just recently put it out on Blu-ray. I don't remember who it was. I think it's the same people that put out The Changeling, that's a smaller distributor. I can't.
Is it Severin, maybe?
Maybe. It might be. But if you guys don't have a copy of it, I found a website that is streaming a DVD. It might even be from the Blu-ray. It looks awesome. It's like Netflix quality. And that's what I'm watching it on. So we'll put that in the link. And they actually have Xtro 2 also because it started playing after I finished rewatching it. I'm like, holy shit, I wonder what else is on here.
Xtro 2 is not as good.
Yeah, I watched the first 30 minutes and I'm like, God, this feels like, I don't know. It felt like one of those TV shows you'd watch on WGN on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Made for TV.
Yeah, it's like they watched fucking Alien and thought, let's just remake this as Xtro 2. It'll look not good though.
Yeah, it has that condition where it was clearly a script that already existed and they wanted to slap the Xtro name on it. But it was, I don't know why they would do that because it was 8 years after this movie existed. I don't really know if this movie had some kind of a cult following at that point.
Screenplay by Robert Smith. Robert Smith of The Cure wrote this movie. Here you are. Go. That's some Cure for you. I just laid it on you.
I almost quoted Radiohead from South Park, and I got my episodes mixed up. You big baby.
Hell yeah. Remember he was on, there's Robert Shea. He was on an episode of fucking Robert Smith. He was on an episode of South Park.
Yeah.
Wherever he had to fight the mighty Barbra Streisand robot.
So I'll tell about the time I first saw this flick, and you guys can share, but we used to rent, we were those low-class, trashy people that used to rent movies at the library because we didn't want to pay Blockbuster. And obviously, when you go to a public library, usually the selection's very limited. But they had Xtro. I remember we rented Xtro and what is it? The Searchers? Am I getting that right? Is that the Corey Haim movie? Am I thinking of a different movie?
John Wayne made The Searchers.
Oh, what am I thinking? What's that movie with Corey Haim and the fucking dog? It also had an alien in it, I think.
Oh, I think that's Watchers.
See,
maybe
the Watchers. Yeah, that's right. My bad.
Yeah.
So I remember we rented both of those, and I watched it back then. I was probably in the 5th grade. I kind of remembered basic plot stuff, but when I rewatched this today, I was blown away at all the weird, obscure shit that I didn't remember. Like, I don't know what the fuck is up with the clown midget.
Oh yeah, the fucking midget juggalo that shows up in the kid's room.
And we'll get to it, obviously. And then we're going to come across like a living toy soldier guy. It just turns into a bit of an acid trip.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool.
The opening 5 minutes of the opening credits are great. Like, it looks like a student film. It's just a still shot of some stars and some white credits coming up for 5 straight minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
with a Casio synthesizer playing.
Exactly.
When I was hearing these voiceovers for this opening scene, I was getting hardcore House by the Cemetery, Fulci overdub vibes with that little kid.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
The whole movie feels very European. Like they watched a bunch of spaghetti horror movies and were like, let's do something like this.
Well, it's an English movie, so it is European.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
The stepdad, or the guy that wants to be the stepdad, he's the only American speaking dude in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, it's a Brit flick, which I think adds to the charm. And that's something I totally forgot about too. I think when I was a kid, that's one of the things I remember differently as I get older. I totally just disregarded British accents. But yeah, I'm like, oh shit, it's British.
See, I remember watching this, I was probably 6 years old. And when I was really young, I used to love watching horror movies. But then whenever I got a little older to where I had actually understood what was happening, I kind of got scared of them. So I was about 6 when I was scared of them. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night. This movie was on, and it was I didn't want to get up and turn the channel because I didn't have a remote. I was afraid I'd get close to the TV and something scary would happen and I'd freak out. So I just laid there in the dark watching it the whole time. And for years afterwards, I would bring it up and people would never know what I'm talking about. And I started believing that I just fucking it was a fever dream I had. I just made the whole movie up, and it kind of seems like a dream watching the movie.
Like you were the one abducted, like those stories when they come in your sleep in your room and they take you as a spaceship.
Oh yeah.
What's funny though is I don't know what I was going to say. I totally fucking lost it. I'm old, guys.
It's because we got fucking abducted and they fucking put us back and you just forgot what it was.
I was going to comment on what you were talking about when you were a little kid. When we're really young, I think what we're scared of when we watch these movies is all visual, because I remember being really scared of things like Pennywise when I was super little, and even Chucky, because I was a few years old when I first saw the first one. I don't really remember anything about the story. I just remembered the actual physical doll and images of that stuff. This movie, it's kind of scary. The story, I don't know if obviously my mind didn't really wrap around it when I was a kid, but just the visual aspect of that alien thing fucking people in the face with his dick. I don't know what the hell's going on with that thing. But it's freaky looking, and the effects are kind of cool.
Well, I like how the whole thing is kind of nonsensical. The whole alien abduction nightmare in the first scene, the whole crazy thing that happened is because the dad threw a stick up into the air.
Yes, yeah. I always, whenever I came back, I woke up in the middle of the movie, so I didn't see the beginning. But whenever I finally saw it, I was like, "What the fuck did he?" Like, I was like, "Did he like cause a dimensional shift when he threw the stick?" Like, all of a sudden, yeah, like what the fuck?
Because like the stick even like froze in the air for a second, and then the flash of light came and the aliens came.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see the alien come.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? When did you watch this movie?
Believe it or not, I never really knew anything about like Xtro series like while it was going on. Really, my first like whatever introduction that Xtro even exists was actually a Fangoria article about Xtro 3 in the mid 90s, and like that got me curious about the series. So like I looked, and like none of my like local or even like chain video stores at the time had any Xtro movies, so I was just like in the dark. And then like maybe about 10, 12 years ago, a friend just like gave me like a bunch of like, I guess like old burned whatever like DVDs that he didn't want anymore. And one of them was Xtro. So like I literally only saw it for like the first time 10 years ago. I'm like, cool. And it's the only one I've seen. I've never seen 2 or 3, although I understand that they're just totally unrelated alien like horror movies.
If I remember right, the same director did 2 and 3 also.
Yeah. Which makes no sense. Like, well, how come he didn't connect them more? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're so used to getting these shit sequels like pumped out, and then it's like, you know, like it's just random writers, random directors, but it was the same guy, and he just made random movies and slapped Xtro on it.
This scene is genuinely creepy when they. I think
him. It is, and he's across the street. Oh yeah, he looks genuinely creepy too.
I think this is
walking like a cricket.
This is the best scene ever in film, right here.
That no, seriously, I was rewatching this earlier today while I was kind of multitasking, and out of my peripheral, I saw where it just flashed there on the side, and it's pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you would see it if you were really in the situation.
Right. There's something about that 3 seconds of film that just like that was literally the best part of the movie, because like I don't even remember where it was, but there was some type of either documentary or clip show I was watching where they were talking about Xtro, and they showed that clip, and when I saw that guy like skitter out to the road and off the road, like that made me want to see this movie like more than anything. And like yeah, like I guess for people who haven't seen the movie, it's like a guy in an alien costume, but what he does is he gets on like his hands and knees, but not like facing downwards like a dog. Like pretty much what he did was like, you know, he arched his back up, and they put the alien head, because it's not really that articulate. They put like the alien head on the back of his head. So when he walks, he's kind of like on all fours, but he's walking backwards, and it makes it really fucking freaky because his knee joints and arm joints are like all like backwards and shit.
Yeah, I was recently watching Ripley's Believe It or Not, the new series with Bruce Campbell hosting. And like there's this guy who's really like he can like fucking like do shit like that, and like yeah, he's like double jointed in his wrist and his legs and shit. He can like crawl on his back like that and like tilt his head so that it's like looking at you, right? It's fucking crazy. He was on there, and like yeah, they've been hiring him to do like practical effects in like horror movies. He was on you guys watch what's that called? Freaking a show Channel Zero on Sci-Fi. He was on season 3 of that. He played like a character. That kind of looked like, when she was outside of the car, kind of looked like Scully.
It did.
Is this fucking Xtro, X-Files? It's fucking Illuminati shit.
I think Xtro kind of looks like a Pumpkinhead with dwarfism.
Hell yeah.
I always thought it was interesting that the alien played like possum there. Like they didn't even come anywhere close to hitting him. He just like scurried off the road to like get out of the sun or the headlights or whatever. But they went and like found him. Like were we supposed to like originally was the scene going to be like they hit him like a dog? Because like, it made no sense why he just went laid down in the woods and pretended to be dead till the guy came up. And he spit acid juice in his face.
Maybe it's like I remember watching it on VHS, like. Just like anything on VHS, the picture's always really dark, and like the whole movie was darker. So seeing it on this copy, it's like the most lit up and easy to make out as I've ever seen it. So like, yeah, I remember that scene being way darker looking. Maybe it's just something that gets lost, and it was like, oh, it was supposed to be like, oh, they thought they hit a deer or something, and he goes to check on it, and then it plays. Like, that's kind of what I always thought growing up watching it.
I'm curious, like, what the like, I kind of understand, like, how they scan films in now and make masters of them and shit, but I wonder how, like, what were they using back in the day that made every VHS release, like, the darkest version of the film? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was weird.
It was like, I remember on the commentary for Basket Case, Frank Henenlotter was talking about how like the VHS copies of Basket Case were always really dark and hard to see. Like, that was one of those, like when that movie came out, that was back when VHSs were like $100 for a brand new VHS. And like, I guess the company was doing something like, hey, we're going to mark this down to like $50. And he's like, oh, we'll put a Basket Case on there. And they're like, really? You don't have to. It's like still a new movie. And he's like, no, go for it. And like, it was like one of the biggest selling movies at the time because it was so much cheaper than every other movie.
Yeah, I think that's smart actually. When you got a lower budgeted movie, like back then, I bet like every video store that was like waffling, you know, when every tape was $80-$90, they were probably like, that was a no brainer. You could probably get anything for $50 and turn a profit.
He was talking on the commentary too. He said like, up until the DVD came out, that was like the first time he ever got to go through the negative and like brighten it up the way he wanted to, because that VHS was always really dark and hard to see everything.
By the way, this movie does not fuck around. We're 12 minutes in. We've seen a kid's dad get abducted by aliens. We've seen like the alien ship return back down to Earth. The alien crawl out, kill a guy, kill actually another woman. Now he's like ready to like rape kill outside of like a house in the woods. Like this movie is not fucking around at all. Like fuck that. Like, oh, something's got to happen every 15 minutes. Like something that happens every 90 seconds in Extra.
And we're gonna have this one scene, Zach, where I feel you probably got the strangest boner of your life when the dad is awkwardly sucking the kids.
His shoulder, he's sucking his shoulder cock.
It's really fucking awkward because they just stay on it for a little too long for my liking. And then later they have the kid doing it to the babysitter or whatever, that German chick.
Yeah.
Which she's hot. I mean, I'm glad. I don't really know what other purpose in the movie she serves besides you get to see her boobies. But that's the same thing there too, which is still kind of awkward. Like it's just odd that they allow a kid to just suck on, because I think he's sucking on her side, like, you know, lower than her navel,
like her stomach. Yeah.
Isn't that weird though?
He like sucks her veins up through so that they're bulging out of her skin, and then he sucks the blue out of them. That's what I always thought.
So look at this. It clearly looks like a cock, and you think it's raping her at first, but it's just kind of odd that it goes on her mouth. I that has to be what they're implying, but they just couldn't pull the trigger completely on the rape. I guess. I don't.
Right.
Maybe. This is probably just how he impregnates. He just he shoots his nut through the mouth and it goes down.
He's even coming. Yeah. Look at him.
Like, I will say one thing. It's really weird, this movie. It's like, in a way, the special effects are not very good, but in a way they are good, because it's like, for whatever they lack in like realism looking, the way this movie's shot, like the shots still creep you out.
Mm-hmm. It works in like a, hey, it's practical effects. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what, this is kind of a side note. Do you know what movie I watched the other day? It was another revisit that I watched in the mid 90s, and it's not a good movie. It's just kind of a whatever. It's like a 4 or 5, and the effects in it were not good, but at the same time they were good. You guys ever seen Bad Moon, that shitty werewolf movie?
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Eric Red. Yeah.
Yeah, the werewolf kind of looks like something out of Chuck E. Cheese, like an animatronic show, but it's very entertaining to look at. Minus the transformation scene where they went total mid-90s CGI, and it's like, but
yeah.
Not a very good flick besides that.
That's always the best thing to do, is go mid-90s CGI.
I haven't seen Bad Moon since it came out in the theater, and like I saw it like on one of the Scream Factory sales recently, and like I almost bought it, but for some reason I didn't pull the trigger. I'm probably not missing out on much. I guess. If
you know the difference between a 4 and a 5 for that flick is, I'll give it a 5 just because at least it's one of those flicks that doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like 85 minutes, right? I mean, if it was one of those flicks that was even an hour and 45 minutes, I'd be like, fuck you, go home. You're a 2. But it's all right.
Well, like, isn't like half the movie literally just like they live in that house kind of in the woods, and the werewolves kind of like always like outside lurking, looking at them and shit?
Yeah, but it moves so fast. It doesn't feel, it really goes by in a blink of an eye. I mean, it's not boring per se. It's always moving. Yeah. It just feels like a movie of the week on Sci-Fi Channel, kind of.
Yeah.
I actually got a copy of Xtro 2 hosted by Joe Bob Briggs on Monster Vision.
Oh, wow.
Pretty donk.
I haven't watched. I mean, you sent me the Blu-rays, but like I said, I haven't touched that since I think I watched Maximum Overdrive on those copies you sent me. And like I said, it was choppy. It was like at like 12 frames per second. And I haven't looked. I'm sure they're not all like that, because I'm sure it's just like an amalgam of shit where they collected it all over the place. But I don't know. I was kind of turned off about even looking at any of the other ones. But I wish I knew like which ones were good and which ones weren't. Not that Maximum Overdrive is a good movie anyway. It's okay if that one's fucked up.
It's a funny movie. The best thing about Maximum Overdrive is if you ever see actually the trailer for it, where Stephen King's like he's not even just narrating, like he's just, the whole trailer is pretty much him just looking into the camera cross-eyed, and he's like coked to the gills, and he's talking about how he's going to scare you to death and all this shit, and he's like, people tell me if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. So I'm directing my first feature-length film, Maximum Overdrive.
Why did you choose that one? Out of all his books and his stories.
Yeah, he said he was going to scare us to death, and he picked a movie that's not scary to say that for.
I might as well bring this up because there's no other time in my life I'll ever talk about this, but they actually did like a TV remake of it that was called Trucks, which I think is the name of the original.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I remember it.
Yeah, I watched it about a year ago. Shockingly, it was on cable or something, and shockingly, it's not very good either.
Yeah. Zach, we should do a Stephen King TV miniseries exploitation.
Oh, man. All of them are directed by freaking, what's his name? What's that guy?
Tommy Lee Wallace.
No, fuck. Damn it, why can't I think of it? The
Mick
guy
Garris.
that did The Stand. Mick Garris, who did The Stand.
Oh, yeah, Mick Garris.
And he didn't do Langoliers, did he? I know he did The Stand. He did that remake of Shining with Steven Weber.
No, Tom Holland did the Langoliers, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we already did it technically, so we already got it started and don't even realize it. Langoliers, Tommy Knockers. You guys ever see that shitty thing? That was shitty.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, like Tommy Knockers was where I discovered Tracy Lords, and I just remember watching that miniseries like in disbelief how hot she was in it.
I was even gonna say this chick that's getting the axe right now kind of had a Tracy Lords vibe at first when she was, not all fucked up in the face.
So like the alien like that impregnated the girl, he just like melted into like a pile of snake skin. Like he's physically he's done, he's gone. And like the dog from you guys ever see that PBS TV show Wishbone?
Yeah, I almost called him Wishbone earlier. Yeah,
Wishbone is here eating the alien snake skin.
It's like my dog when she eats her shit.
Wishbone, I believe, was also the dog on Frasier Eddie. They were the same dog.
Yeah, that's interesting. Talk about a money making dog.
Oh, yeah, for somebody. Hey, so I'm confused now. Is the alien in this really the dad because she's given birth to the dad, or is it taking the form? Did it clone the dad? Right?
Yeah, it seems to imply at the end that he like basically takes the form of the dad specifically just to steal the kid.
Well, he could be alien BS or whatever, but like. Because his memory is not really there either, but like he tells the kid that like it's really him, but just like he had to adapt, like this whole process of becoming an alien is what he had to do to adapt to living on the alien homeworld or whatever.
Which I would buy if we didn't watch him giving birth to him. This scene's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, we are seeing a woman give birth to a full-grown man. Just
weird.
Again, like I was saying, like the effects aren't that great, but they shoot it with multiple angles. They kind of fool you. You know what I mean? Like they kind of pull it off.
You know what's funny too is I remember back in like 8th grade health, whenever we saw a birth on the tape for the first time, I immediately thought of this movie and thought how funny it would have been if the teacher just played this scene instead of like that. How it would have blown everybody's mind.
I mean,
he bites through the umbilical cord to release himself.
It's I think, Zach, if you were a kid and this was your first introduction to, birthing this movie, and let's say like Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, you would think you come out like a fully grown.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, as a kid, I always thought it was one of those things like you see it as a kid and it just gets in your psyche, and then when you watch it as an adult, you still think of it the same way. So I never really got like, oh, he's coming out of the freaking he's coming out of the vagina. I always thought she was supposed to be shitting him out. Like the joke was, oh, she ate a human and she's shitting him out. But then somebody's like, no, it's like she's giving birth, and I was like, I never even thought of that.
Well, literally, he grew in her stomach in like 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Because the stomach got insanely big. Like it wasn't like she woke up with that big stomach. She was normal when she woke up. She took a glass of water from the sink and then boom, just blew up like a balloon, literally.
That's how they do it in the alien world.
Yeah.
Get woke.
Get woke, vagina broke.
Hell yeah.
It's funny. So here soon, because the dad's going to reintroduce himself into their lives, which I don't understand that phone, by the way. Why is the phone melting? That's a side note.
Yeah.
He's too hot to handle. But anyway, when he reintroduced himself to his family's life, they just think he ditched him. He ran out, went out for a pack of cigarettes, never came back type of thing, I guess. I really think the boyfriend...
I think he was pursuing his career in Journey because he looks like Steve Perry.
Yep.
No, but the boyfriend and her, they're a little too hard on the kid. Like when he first comes back, like, well, he's like, I'm here. He's like, his dad's been gone. He's like, duh, his dad, it's 3 years ago. I'm not saying he can't kind of have grieved and moved on, but like, I'm sure the kid didn't fucking forget about his dad bailing on him 3 years ago. Like it was so long ago.
Well, the kid keeps telling him like he got taken in the sky, and they keep like telling him that's bullshit. He left us. So like the kid does remember. So, but like the dad, maybe it really is the dad just like re-terraformed into an alien being because he even knew the phone number to their house. How would an alien know that?
Well, maybe the alien, when it takes on, like, maybe it obtains all their fucking knowledge, because there's been movies like that where
See, they kind of leave it to where you can, it's open to interpretation. Cause, like, I always thought that when he tells the kid, like, oh yeah, I had to like acclimate to being up there. I figured he was just like, I didn't think he was talking about like, oh, he actually changed to be like it. Cause at the end, he takes on his true form and he looks fucking all crazy. And we'll see that later in the movie.
Yeah. And like that suit is awesome, except for the head is a little weird with these like glass eyes.
Yeah, I kind of think it works. I don't know. This movie does something for me. Like, every time I watch it, I kind of go back to feeling like I'm watching someone's dream. It's weird.
It's got an undeniable charm to it. It's not doing international relations any favors by making the most unlikable person in the movie American. I fucking hate the boyfriend.
No,
he's just this chick's Is she all dubbed? Is that what that is? Or is she just that shitty and hammy of an actor, this old lady?
Oh, she's amazing.
She sounds like just... It sounds off-putting.
She's very like, I don't know what the word is, but she's like, you get propelled away from her when you watch the film. Like, you almost want the hot, like, what another thing too is like the hot, like 18-year-old French babysitter, whatever she is.
Oh, French,
like,
yeah. These
people live in an apartment. Like, can they really afford a hot, like, French au pair or whatever? It's just a weird setup.
Yeah. Well, it's usually the other way around. Like, usually these people that are working office jobs have giant ass fucking penthouse apartments in movies, right? There's no way that they would afford that. No one ever questions like why no one's hauling off fucking Martin Riggs' trailer on a beach somewhere. Some beach that nobody has any, I don't know.
Now look at this. I noticed this last night. How did they get the wind to blow on cue? That's some good fucking effects.
And then the truck goes by.
Oh yeah.
Perfectly synced up.
They knew what they were doing here.
So which by the way, like Miriam Dabo here, the hot French nanny or whatever she is, like, what was her accent supposed to be? Because she, in real life, she's from the UK. Like, I don't think she has that weird ass accent. Because probably like 6-7 years after this, she was actually a Bond girl in the Living Daylights with Timothy Dalton.
She show her boobies in it?
Nah, because James Bond is like always PG. So nah.
Lamb.
I think she's French. I think I said German at the top of the show, but it's French.
Yeah. But it's weird, like they wanted to like make it more international. And I guess New Line putting some money into it because Bob Shea was a producer. I guess he was just like, we got to have one American in here.
Dude, people do that. Like, so I've been working on a project for a long time, getting a film financed. And that's what people fucking tell us all the time. Like, how about you make that girl European? And, there's nothing set in stone that this couple here has to be white. They can be Asian. It comes up all the time. And I get it. I mean, for marketing and, people want to make their fucking money back and appealing to different people. But
I was going to like say something else, but like that would give away some of your script. I can't do that.
She's a 10. I think she's a 10. She's really attractive. And I'm not going to get sexual on this show, but like, I don't know. Her titties are great. That's all. I want to come on them.
I mean, who wouldn't?
I thought you were talking about the girl dead in the car. Like, like you're a little ahead of us.
No. Are you guys? Am I synced with you guys? Are you guys seeing that guy's ass cheeks right now?
We're seeing her stand up
let's
right
see.
now.
Yeah, I'm seeing her stand up.
This guy looks like the motherfucker from Halloween 2 in the hot tub getting all sleazy with the big jugs.
Yeah, Leo Rossi.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm just curious, jumping back into the international casting for your project, Aaron. Like, when these people say we want like somebody from this country or that country, are they like, we'll just find an American and have them do a fake accent? Or are they really like willing to like pay the extra money to cast foreign actors?
Well, it's yeah. I mean, some stuff you can't fake, I guess. For example, I've come to find out that when it comes to buying all these people care about is making their money. They don't care about offending people. It has nothing to do with PC culture at all. They just want to know the bottom line. How are we going to get our money back?
Bro, dude, so, go woke, go broke.
The Middle East, right? The Middle East is one of the biggest buyers for horror movies, for genre flicks. And so this particular story at first had some depiction of people from that part of the world.
That's what I was going to bring up, but I didn't know if I can.
Okay, so
not out yet.
It wasn't crucial. I mean, I had to make a change, but there was depictions of people that might have been. Someone might have looked at it and been like, it didn't say where they were from, but someone might have been like, okay, this is kind of like an ISIS thing. So that was the first thing that had to go. Like, yeah, look, I don't give a fuck about this, but we got to sell this shit type of thing. So our recommendation is you change that. So
it's the same reason why in the new Rambo movie, he's going up against Mexican cartels, because nobody in Mexico funds American movies.
100%.
So they don't got to worry about pissing them off.
No, seriously. It's 100%. It's not PC driven at all, because Zach hit it on the head. Dude, they'll fucking plow over Mexican people all they want to. But like I said, you piss off some fucking oil rigger, from Saudi Arabia, not going to happen.
It seems like it might even be a way to try to get them to like want to finance movies. So like, hey, take it easy on like Mexican characters. Like, stop making them the bad guys. Like they're almost extorting them or something.
Well, so I'm totally against the idea of forcing different types of people in something if it's unnatural. Like sometimes like, what was it? Was it something about what show was it? I think it was on Netflix or something about literally the Declaration of Independence, the Revolutionary Times, and they wanted to cast like African-American people where African-American people would have not been located, like in high, you know what I'm saying? They would have really,
right. That
shit is kind of weird to me. I mean, to each their own, but like for me, if we found out we can get X amount of more dollars more than, party A from party B, if we, there's a couple in this flick that's brother and sister technically. We could totally make them Asian. It really wouldn't change the story at all. I'd be fine with it. It wouldn't really bother me. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't care. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but sometimes they go crazy and it turns out to be a fucking McDonald's ad where it's like, they're sitting at a table and the four best friends just happen to be one Korean guy, one black guy, one Jewish guy, and then one Mexican guy. Like there's not even a white guy. The white guy, they got to have him serving the fries because we got to balance it here.
Yeah, I feel like when you go too crazy like that, then you're not really appealing to anybody. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just find that interesting because it's like, I mean, like I've had some experience making like low budget films and like there is talent everywhere and all kinds of people and stuff. But like at the same time, like if you're not making a big Hollywood studio movie, it's always in your best interest just to get the best actors you can, no matter what type of person they are.
This is where I noticed last night when I was watching this, he looks like fucking Steve Perry. I'm forever yours.
She kind of looks like Susan Sarandon. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the dad reminds me of like Hugh Jackman's drunk uncle kind of.
Yeah, I see a mix of both. I see it. Depending on the angle, you get Perry or Hugh Jackman with a big nose. Yeah, I gotcha.
See, if I was gonna fuck either Rick Perry or this guy, I'd pick him because
Rick Perry.
Okay. Oh fuck! I already see. I'm so bad with names.
That's probably some baseball player that we don't realize.
Rick Perry.
But you want to fuck him?
Yeah, I would pick him because he could fuck me with that nose and make me squeal.
There you go.
So I
like it's kind of
sorry.
His nose is kind of angled downward so he can give you a good rim job and you, like stick the tip of the nose in. Yeah.
It's funny because when I listened to the episode that the Critters episode is acted on your show, whenever he goes on somebody else's thing, he kind of dials it back because it's not his house, right? I get,
right.
But I just think it's funny, and I think even Zach's kind of dialing it down right now. But have you listened to a lot of the shit he says? Have you heard a lot of the episodes?
Oh yeah. I know all about the cummies and the hot ass little kids. Oh yeah, I know all about it.
So like even me saying that thing about the cum and the tits, that was me. Like, did Zach say that, or did that come out of my mouth? Because that's not really a thing. I think maybe subconsciously I felt like Zach didn't fill the quota so far in the episode, and I think it just came out.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, Zach's a disgusting mother. I'm desensitized to it, though.
Well, the little boy here, Tony, he has a pet snake named Harry. And when Zach watched this movie, he probably was come up like 10 different ways he could stick Harry the snake up his own ass. So
hell yeah.
Dude, well, I don't know why. You're saying Tony and little boy, it makes you think of The Shining. And it makes me think of the grossest comment Zach ever said, and it was when you did the R-rated show.
Oh, yeah. I was on... another podcast called R-Rated Horror, and like we did The Shining, and I was like, oh man, this could be a train wreck because this is a 2.5 hour movie. I gotta like I knew the movie by heart, so I didn't need to brush up on it, but like I was thinking of like some jokes, like I basically made up some jokes that I could say at certain parts of the movie if no one else was talking. And I do that with every episode, but like if someone else is talking, I'll just let that joke go, or if it's funny enough, I'll bring it up later. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that scene where he's doing the Tony thing, I'll say something like, oh yeah, every time I hear a boy talk about a man that lives in his mouth, I get hard as fuck, or something like that.
You said man inside his mouth. It was a lot more sexual. It was really fucking perfect. And to preface it further, the guy that was guesting on Josh's show at that time, he was unaware of you. So it was one of those things where you're testing him out. Like, this is either going to put him off forever or he's going to, but everybody died laughing because it was just out of nowhere. Because the whole show, you're pretty reserved. You're just laying down the factoids and driving it that way. But then all of a sudden there's like a dead spot for like 2 seconds and you go blue full on and you say that.
That's exactly when I hear that dead spot. I'm like, okay, this is my joke time.
Which made it even more funny and more impactful because it just came out of fucking left field. But it was really good.
It's amazing.
Speaking of that snake though, the old bitch, like I said, she's really off-putting. Yeah. That scene where she finds the fucking snake in her salad and she just kind of...
And she fucking kills it like a bitch.
And she's scolding the mother after killing the snake. Like, I don't think he's responsible enough to have a pet. Like, I'm like, I wanted to hit her.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to throw her down some stairs.
It's kind of funny how this movie devolves from gross out alien stuff for about a good probably 20, 30 minutes here. It becomes like about the dynamics of family drama with the ex-husband. I mean, I guess technically he's not even an ex-husband because he was just missing or whatever, but the former husband showing up, living in the same house with the boyfriend and all this.
We're getting to see the shit Steve Perry was talking about in that Faithfully song.
Yeah. Which, like, I don't know how much... like, was shit hard up or what? Like, who would be fighting over this lady so hardcore?
I mean, neither one of those guys reprises themselves. I'm going to call the guy with curly hair Hall & Oates if we're calling the other guy Steve Perry. But Hall & Oates, I don't know if he's acting irrationally or not. I get it. It would be quite disturbing if, you were planning on proposing to this one girl or whatever. I don't know if he even planned to propose to her or if he just did that out of like, what do you call it? Feeling insecure because the dad came back. But... Yeah, I mean, if you're of the mindset this guy never came back and all of a sudden the baby daddy comes back, yeah, that would be a hard blow and I wouldn't know what to do. But at the same time, man, like, yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. I think I would just have to take some time out. This guy never really goes away. I'd have to take a time out. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I can't get involved with a boy and his dad, man. I just could not. I couldn't even put myself in that situation. This guy's really trying really hard to just stay in the game.
Yeah, and he's like trying to lay the law down of like, he's not going to stay here. He's not going to. It's like, first of all, that's like their old apartment house.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like their new place. Yeah.
Well, even he was being super aggressive when he first came back. He's the one saying, like, it was 3 years ago. The kid needs to get over it. Like, the dude just arrived that day back in the kid's life. It's been 3 years. Fucking easy up, dude. Like, it's just, he's aggressive from the get-go. I don't like him.
I think they both want to win her back because secretly they're really fucking the hot babysitter on the side.
That looks like
See, that was confusing to me because the guy who plays the hot babysitter's boyfriend that's always sneaking in the banger, like all these guys kind of look the same, and like in that first sex scene, like you can't even see that guy's face at first. So I was like, oh, was this the drama that when like the ugly old mom goes to work that this guy bangs the hot babysitter? But then eventually you find out, oh no, this is like a third dark haired guy that looks the same as these other fuckers.
Yeah, I know Europe. I've spent a lot of time in Europe, and you get a lot of samey type people, but you'd think they would have made an effort to cast very visually different looking people.
Right.
This is great. Watch this. This is great. The kid walks in, sees him just drinking some cummy looking shit. Like
It looked like body wash, like he was drinking shampoo.
Yeah, he didn't see where that came from. How does he know to be scared of that?
Yeah.
But those snake eggs that he's supposedly eating that he crushes and he eats the juice, those things were so tiny, and yet they produce like gallons.
Just like
of
Zach.
jizz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like any testes. They produce gallons of it. And it keeps on coming.
We're almost at the part where he's going to suck the little boy. It's really fucking odd.
Yep.
But I was going to say on the note of you would have thought they would have made an effort to cast different looking people aesthetically, because it's the same reason why I got upset when we did the Alone in the Dark commentary. Like, you don't cast both, Christian Slater and Steven Dorff in the same movie because they're very aesthetically similar.
Same height.
Same hairline. They got that weird like angry eyebrow look, and there's actors that you don't cast at the same time, and they fucking did it. But Uwe Boll's gonna break the rules, I guess. Fuck that guy.
Uwe does it.
Uwe's operated on a different level that probably a lot of us can't comprehend.
He's a fucking 5-head motherfucker. He's got like an 8,000 IQ.
I feel like, okay, so these two actors are not at all similar in any way in their delivery, but I feel like two actors that you couldn't put co-starring next to each other are Kurt Russell and Patrick Swayze, because they also had similar hairstyle, similar bone structure, similar size, similar build. Like even the way they, like with their shirts off, right? They similar. You can't have those two guys in the same movie either. You have guys like Keanu, who no one looks like Keanu, so he can kind of like, mix with anybody.
The Reeves.
What's weird about Keanu is like if you watch his younger roles when he was younger, he kind of looked like he had some like Asian heritage. Now you see him, he just looks like an old white guy.
Well, he is. I don't know if he's like a quarter Asian. Is he half Japanese or a quarter?
Yeah, I thought he was.
He totally is. I don't remember if it was a quarter or half or what he is.
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
But that quarter went away.
Yeah. He made change at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love Keanu though. I like back in the night, before John Wick made him, or I guess really probably The Matrix made him cool again. Like I always liked Keanu.
I always liked the Reeves. Like, like everybody was always like, yeah, he's not a very good actor, but like he's so likable. I don't know why.
Oh, here it is. Slurpy slurp. Look at that's the weirdest. That's the weirdest part. Like, okay, kid, roll the eyes in the back of your head while he's sucking you. We gotta get a close up.
Yeah, you are a bit ahead of us.
Yeah, you are.
Am I?
Because right now he's just lurking and talking. Because we should say he like the kid freaked out because he saw him slurping the snake eggs. And
if you want, pause it and I'll tell you when it shows him slurping.
Okay.
Slurping.
And he was.
Yeah,
I just watched him slurping the shoulder cock. It was weird. Okay.
He chased the little boy into a boiler room. And now he's removing his clothes.
Zach, just tell me to go whenever you see Hall & Oates running down the street, right, in the daytime towards him.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it paused.
Yeah, he's sucking hard.
He's sucking that shoulder cock really well.
It's so fucking weird.
It looks like he made a blister and now he's sucking the juice out of the blister.
Whoa. Well, I don't get how his sucking like makes the skin grow. Like it's weird.
Hell yeah. And it pulsates. Play. He's running.
Okay.
Yeah.
The guy later too that's dating the hot babysitter kind of looks like what's his name? Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, it does.
I kept thinking he was going to be like, when they let me in, I want to be your friend. I want to guard your dreams and visions.
I thought Hall & Oates was going to be like, whoa, here he comes. He's a boy sucker.
Hell yeah.
Does it, this chick, she just kind of comes off like a low grade Julia from Hellraiser. When I think,
I kept thinking that too.
Oh, it's this bitch again.
Like Julia from Hellraiser is like ugly, but she's sexy at the same time. It's weird.
I disagree. I think she's kind of gross, but you can have her.
Really? Thank you.
She's got a weird mom bod. I would understand if she had that weird face, but like a rockin' bod. But I don't know. She's just, there's nothing attractive about that 80s haircut, that permed up look.
Oh, I think that's the hottest thing about her.
I like 80s hair.
Yeah.
And those shoulder pads. It looks good on like a Linda Blair, right? Back in those days.
Yeah.
But the shoulder pad look, it's not for me.
She could just run into you like a fucking football player with those shoulder pads on.
Who is it?
Make you calm.
Who is it that shared one of you guys, I think, shared that meme from Hellraiser 2, and it was the "Help me, I'm all sticky."
Yeah, instead of "Help me, I'm in hell," it said "Help me, I'm all sticky." I don't know who made that.
I laughed way longer than anyone should laugh at that stupid fucking meme, but I thought it was so fucking funny.
It's genius.
This is where we're starting to find out that the little boy Tony now has psychic powers because he's been bitten by his alien father.
Which is another weird twist, by the way. It's just like, okay, now they have psychic powers? Because has he shown to have psychic powers, the dad, at any point?
Not really.
See, what if this is the Tony that fucking Danny's talking to in The Shining? I like to think.
Twist.
It could be.
I don't know why. For some reason, she really doesn't look like her, but the French girl, she kind of reminds me of, I don't know, Olivia Diabo, like Wonder Years, you know?
Yeah, because it's her sister.
Is it really?
Yeah. This is Miriam Diabo. This is the older. See, I always got them mixed up. For years and years, dude, I thought it was the same girl. You know what I mean? But because they look exactly the same, but like, yeah, I think they're a few years apart. So this was the first Diabo who came out in this and like the James Bond movie and all that. And then, yeah, Olivia came out later.
See, I had no idea there was any relation. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even know her last name until you told me. And I saw Olivia Diabo in something very recently out of nowhere. I don't remember. I've watched a lot of stuff lately. It might have even been fucking Bad Boys for Life, for God's sakes. But I saw her in something modern. And I hadn't seen her in a long time, and she still looks good. She's definitely middle-aged now, but she's aging, like a wine.
I agree.
My mom watches those Hallmark channel movies, and I was over there the other day, and fucking Wendy from Wonder Years was on one of those. She looks good still. She looks good. I don't remember thinking she was hot as a kid.
Her name's Winnie.
Yeah, Wendy. Not bad.
Yeah, she's in a ton of those. Yeah, she aged well. She's probably in her early 40s, but she looks like she's in her early 30s.
Yeah, I follow her on socials. She's always posting like stuff. But yeah, she aged really well. What was I gonna? Olivia Diabo. She was also in Jane the Virgin. If you guys ever saw that show.
I know about it, but I didn't watch it.
I've heard of it, yeah.
If you don't have a woman in your life, you've probably fucking never had to watch it. But she's in that, and she looked damn good too. I'm like, fuck, that's Olivia Diabo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this bitch. I hate her.
I would fuck her. She's not ugly for an old hag.
I don't differentiate someone like that from Julia and Hellraiser. Like they have the same fashion. They got the same haircut. They probably smell like mothballs the same. I don't know. I don't know how Julia was able to lure so many fucking men are needy. How many?
What kind of salad is that? Like it's literally just fucking.
Snake salad.
How did that? Yeah, I know it's funny. The snake. I think you would have in that second shot. There clearly was no fucking snake in that salad.
I know.
It's ridiculous. Hey, I know it's a totally different movie, but I feel like I got to ask: at what point, if Julia lured you into her house to have sex, so at what point into walking into that weird attic room and looking how fucked up and weird it was, would you be like, yeah, this is not right, I'm out of here?
I would have taken a while. As soon as like Frank comes out, I would have been like, holy shit, we got a third? Hell yeah. And as soon as he hit me, I'd be like, oh fuck, maybe this was a bad idea.
And that first guy looks just like Phil Collins. That's what I always think about.
Yeah,
but I always think about that. Like, man, I mean, they're asking a couple of questions on the way up, but I get it. Your horniness is going to take precedence, but there has to come a point where you're like, okay, this is not normal. I feel like I'm going to get raped or hit in the head with a hammer or whatever the fuck happened.
Well, the feeling I always got when I watched it was she was intentionally targeting like the most hard up guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the constantly horny, constantly hitting on women guys, but that are never successful. You know what I mean?
Incels.
Well, because that guy was sexually frustrated when it kind of seemed like she was going to resist or turn away. Remember, he got real rough for a moment. Yeah, you're right.
Did you notice she went through the trouble of putting the snake in a bag? Do you think she picked that snake out and ate that salad still?
Oh yeah, of course.
I would have.
But But like we kind of ignored it, but like there was a whole I feel like there was a whole secondary movie going on, Adventures of Harry the Snake, because like they showed him crawling they showed him crawling out of the tank, going under the door. He crawls out of the chandelier downstairs to get into the salad. Like that was like a whole, like that's what's cool about this movie is like if you're not liking it right now, like 10 minutes later it'll be a whole different movie for you to get into.
Hell yeah!
I think in about 10 minutes it becomes. That's when it becomes an acid trip, man. We got the midget clown back. We got the life-size toy soldier guy. It does. It becomes a totally different thing. I think this is also one of those flicks, too, where it was really smart and it knew how long it had to be. It's one of the strengths. This is not a movie I don't think I want to watch for 2 hours. But at 90 minutes, it's so fucking off the wall and it's moving so fast to where it almost does it a service. I find that the older I get, the less patience I have for certain flicks. Like I've seen enough good movies that can make it all wrap around in about 90 minutes that I realize how many movies are way too bloated. Like this movie This movie doesn't have to be 2.5 hours long. This movie doesn't have to be. I watched God, what is it, Zach? Pizzagate the movie.
Oh, I don't know.
Joaquin. What is it called?
The Joker?
Pizzagate the movie. Come on, what is it called?
I don't know.
Plays the guy, rescues the girl from the politician. Come on, man. He plays the war guy. Yeah, the hitman.
I knew you were here or something like that.
Yeah, I was never here. You were never here.
You're talking about where he's like the hitman and he always kills people with a hammer.
Yeah, I was never here. You were never really here. That's what it's called. Pizzagate the movie.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
Anyway,
it's pretty good.
I loved it, and I watched that movie, and that movie was like it was crazy short. It was like 82 minutes. It was like an animated feature length. I couldn't believe it. And they got their point across. And I'm like, man, if anybody else would have made this movie, it would have been 2 hours and 15 minimum because of the subject matter. And I'm like, man, why can't all these movies just fucking wrap it in a tight little bow like this? Because, I mean, my favorite movie of all time is arguably the original Alien, which isn't 90 minutes. It's a little slower. It's a little bit longer. Yeah. But I can't honestly say I watch Alien every 6 months, but there's a lot of movies that are like an hour and 25, hour 30 minutes that I can just bust through and they're extremely rewatchable. And I think there's a big value in that too.
Yeah, that's like the original, I don't know if you guys ever seen this movie, but the original version of District B13 is like 76 minutes. And like I probably watched that movie like 8 times in the first 2 years that I had the DVD because like you just want to see a quick action movie, whatever. It's over with quick, boom, throw that in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zach, I agree with you. The Shining's a perfect 10, but I'm not going to watch it every fucking quarter of the year.
Right.
You know, because
it's like a special occasion.
It's cumbersome. It is a big event. It's a lot to take in, and there's a lot to pay attention to. It's kind of an exhausting movie, right? Because it's really making you work. Even if you've seen it a million times, every shot of The Shining is like a work of art. Your eyes are always going places in it. I don't know, but yet for some reason I've watched the fucking shitty Mortal Kombat 1995 movie than any time I can count. That and the original TMNT movie.
Oh yeah,
like are those high art? No, but they're
fun.
They're over in less than 90 minutes, and they're so much fun. And it's like there's something to that too.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part of the shitty Mortal Kombat movie is when Reptile comes out.
Reptile.
And the movie's actually like Reptile. It's just announcing to the idiots in the audience, like
no, I think it's a homage to the games when you select them, right? Reptile, and he even rolls his R's. Reptile. Yeah. It's cool, dude. I fucking get off on it. I'm like, yeah, and I still love it. But when I watch it now, obviously back in 1995 when that movie came out, I was a novice action martial arts movie guy as far as what I had consumed. Yeah. Then at 25 years later, I've consumed a lot of that genre, and you realize, wow, the choreography in this movie is shitty. It's like they're just dancing.
Yeah,
they're not really fighting, and it's pretty weak. But
yeah, I know.
I don't know. The movie's great. I get a lot of, and it's super cheap. Like the sets but all that stuff's charming. Christopher Lambert. I mean, he's done a lot wrong. Don't get me wrong, but yet he does no wrong. I think he's a great, charming actor. I think Highlander's overrated as fuck. I'll take Highlander 2 over 1, to be honest with you, as imperfect as it is.
What?
As imperfect
as fucking crazy.
As imperfect and weird, and it's like what Highlander 2 kind of wants to be Blade Runner to a degree.
I love to see though, real quick, her reaction to like somebody just cutting that chain and then fucking blowing her door open. is really fucking calm and understanding.
Yeah, we should say the little boy, because he's using his alien magic to bring his toys to life. First, he made a little doll turn into a circus midget. Now he's made like a full-on, 12-inch G.I. Joe come to life. And it's literally like a wooden motherfucker, like running around trying to kill this lady to avenge the death of Harry the Snake.
This must have been like the first day of shooting, because she is not acting very convincingly.
No. She's not even acting like the same character that she was in the other scenes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know what's funny too is, like, I remember as a kid, like, there's something really creepy to me about bad acting in movies, because it never registered as bad acting. It always made me think like I remember when I'd watch like Troll 2 and the adults were acting so shitty. I always thought like, oh man, this is creepy, because it's like the grown-ups are off. Like there's something nefarious about these grown-ups. And I think that works too on this movie. Like I think every kid can kind of like that kind of gets in their psyche, and it kind of creeps them out. The idea that like your parent isn't really your parent, like it's somebody that looks like him, but it's an imposter.
Yeah, been replaced.
Yeah.
Now we gotta say the reason this lady got killed was like the wooden guy. He almost acts like he don't have any eyes, which I'm sure is because the guy can't see out of that fucking mask. But like he's like stabbing with his bayonet rifle all around like the curtains, trying to find the lady. He eventually finds her because she's hiding underneath the couch. And I guess in her rush to get under, she spilled like her little thing of like Valentine's Day candy. He finds her and kills her because her hand reaches out to grab a piece of the candy. Like, was she just needed a snack right then and there, or like what?
Yeah, now he can see also. He's just like,
yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's a real fucking like the dank shit. He's not one of those off-brand fucking G.I. Joes that you get at Kmart. He's the real brand shit.
He's the legit action man.
Fucking
UK
GoBot.
If he was like he wouldn't be the GoBots. He'd be the Transformers.
Yeah. When I was a kid, though, I remember that guy. That stuff is legitimately creepy to a kid. Like anything that resembles like dead in the eyes, like a plastic toy or a doll. That used to creep me out. And also the episode of Friday the 13th, the series, with the dollhouse, right?
Yeah, the doll one. Yeah,
that's creepy. And there was even an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, of all things, where there was like the dollhouse, right? The little girl. That stuff was kind of creepy to like a kid. And I guess it's not. I guess it's a mask. It's not like a toy, but it kind of looks like it. Tourist Trap used to freak me out. I remember watching, the guy's mask or whatever, moving up and down. It's
I gotta do a pee real quick. I'll be right back.
You gotta do a pee?
Gotta do a pee.
I watched. I remember I watched Tourist Trap. I was probably 4 years old, and it used to come on like our creature features back on like public access used to kick ass. I don't think that's a thing anymore. Like they don't have the creature feature host of the week on your local public access. They don't do it anymore. But I landed across that, and I remember the Tourist Trap, dude, scared the fuck out of me as a kid too. But once again, that's a movie I really didn't absorb what it was about. I just remember things like visuals, and they stick with you.
Like I've never had like a spooky like experience in my life, but the one thing that did freak me out, and I still can't like kind of come to terms with it if it was real or not, was the and I loved him too, but the local horror host where I grew up in Cincinnati was this guy called the Cool Ghoul, and he was like pretty much retired like by the time like I was born and everything, but like he came along and like he would do like sporadic like appearances on TV, and he would do like local commercials and shit. And I swear to God, like his, like he just kind of like those wacky hosts. He had like a blonde wig and a hat and a little outfit. I swear I saw that guy walking through the woods behind my house. It was so fucking weird. Now in my mind, it was him, but it probably was just somebody who for some reason was dressed similar or looked similar because it was from a distance. But that was like the creepiest moment of my life, thinking I saw the Cool Ghoul in the woods. Like,
well, and I used to think when you were a kid, I used to think those guys were like celebrities. You don't really grasp that. That's local. I couldn't tell the difference between public TV, local TV, and a national network. I remember I saw the Son of Sanguinary. That was our guy. He kind of did like the mad scientist shtick on his. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing him at like a grocery store, like a Kroger brand store, and I'm like, what the fuck? And to make it even more pathetic, okay, let's back it up even more. I remember when I was 4 or 5 years old in kindergarten, I saw my ice cream driver, who looked a lot like Hulk Hogan, eating at the same Crystal Burger as us. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the ice. Do you know what that is? That's the ice cream man.
Oh,
it was weird to me.
Wow.
The Jolly Ollie man.
Yeah, he looked like Hulk Hogan and Mr. Nanny, dude. He had that that same chrome dome with the long hair on the sides and blonde.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Well, it's like definitely not that same kind of thing. But even like when I was like older, like teenager or whatever, like you see people that like work at jobs or whatever, like somebody works at your like local video store or something, and then like you see them like one day or wherever, like out of their uniform, just like eating somewhere at the mall, and you're like, oh, like they're just a regular person like me, and it's like wait, like why would I think they were anybody special?
Yeah,
because they have some low paying job.
Yeah. That's not unlike the ice cream man thing, I think. I remember I was a little bit like, I kind of had those vibes too, like when they had the local weatherman come and talk to us, the meteorologist. I'm like, that's Jim Flowers. His name was Jim Flowers, and he grew up to be a weatherman, which is kind of fucked up anyway.
Was he related to Brandon from The Killers?
No, not that guy. But yeah, it was really weird.
We can't say for sure they could have been distant relatives.
You know what's funny is Zach is totally shit with names unless he's making a reference to Deviate You. Then he gets the names on point. Yeah. He knows Brandon Flowers then.
Yeah. All of a sudden, he knows everybody.
But if we were talking about the Killers, you would have called him Brandon Ruth or
I like the Killers enough to remember his name.
Okay. I like the Killers too.
Yeah, I was I guess lucky enough that I saw the Killers live in concert open up for Morrissey before like anybody really knew who they were. And the one guitar player, for some reason, his amp caught on fire in the middle of the set. It was pretty crazy.
Morrissey's not PC, bro. We can't get down with Morrissey.
I love Morrissey. I don't give a fuck.
No, I don't give a fuck either. It's so funny, man. People just throw all kinds of shit at that guy.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't fuck. That's weird.
Oh, is he asexual? I didn't know that.
He claims to be, but come on.
You got the jacket.
I don't know if there's total asexuality, but I think maybe they're mistaking asexuality for someone that just doesn't have a very high sex drive. I think there's many levels. It's like obviously at the tipping point, you have your sex addicts that are just, insatiable. And then you have the guys that are all right with doing it once every couple of weeks or whatever. It's like, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, if you listen to all the early Smith songs, they're like half of them are all about like bizarre, awkward sexual experiences that went wrong. I mean,
so there you go. He's got a fucking an issue. Something happened to him and he's traumatized.
He's probably traumatized. Probably like he had sex with his aunt or something at a young age.
Or he just he masturbated way too much before he ever finally got laid and it just ruined it for him. And he's desensitized.
Yeah.
Nobody can please him like he can.
Exactly.
There was that weird scene with the kid and the babysitter where like they're just like eating. There's like just random popcorn strewn like all over the table, and like they just got big gallons of like they're eating entire gallons of ice cream, and it's just all melting. It's just so gross.
Now look at this. See, she was obviously trying to make him like happy giving him ice cream and shit. I would be like, can I just watch you fuck your boyfriend?
Yeah.
I won't tell mom.
Yeah, it's like the boyfriend snuck in so they could have sex while the kid was there. Like how, like might as well just have him come up the fire escape or some shit.
Oh yeah. This is a fucking scene from Evil Dead.
Yep. I like how she just keeps pulling up to that gate. Like, she's almost ready to run him over.
Yeah, she's like, I ain't gonna fucking stop. You gotta fucking, like, I'll go really slow, but, like, you should just fucking be able to open it up fast enough. I ain't stopping.
Yeah, I don't want to hold my foot all the way down to, like, a complete stop.
She's got a lead foot.
Yep.
You know,
or the opposite.
I get why they cast a dwarf to play that clown he brought to life or whatever, but I mean, if the kid really brought it to life, I don't really think it would have like dwarfism. I mean, it's just they could only cast it. Does that make sense? You know, it would be proportionate.
Yeah, it was just, like the toy wasn't really necessarily even a short or stubby thing. It was just like a little fake circus toy.
Yeah, it wasn't a short and stubby thing. Fuck those short stubby things. Those fucking short stubbies.
Well, they did it because what's scarier, a grown man in the fucking in your room painted as a juggalo, or a kid, or someone in between? That's creepy. That's
pretty gross. This scene's pretty. But he gets to suck on. You said that's Diablo's sister.
Yeah, she's the one. I just looked it up. Current day, this Diablo's 59 and the younger Diablo's 51. So,
man, I'll take them both right now, right here.
I'll take her when she's 69.
I thought you were going to say, I'll take him after you.
Yeah.
This movie has a lot of weird. Have you guys noticed these like little jump cuts?
Cuts, yeah. Like whenever it was panning over, like earlier, it did like a weird dissolve. Like,
but
it's like, why'd you pause? Like, or why'd you cut?
Because they come at weird times. It's just like they just wanted to mesh like two takes together.
Yeah. See, look, he's like, I'm gonna fuck this bitch. He's all happy and shit. Oh, his dick went limp.
Yeah, he has a hammer and he wants to smash the lady's head and it keeps getting wobbly. Finally, he does.
I feel like...
Look at that. That's the river cover right there.
Yeah.
Is your version longer or something? Because I feel like I'm in a different spot now again.
Oh, what are you seeing?
So I watched, him suck the vein out of Diabo, and then now I'm seeing outside the dad open the door, and...
We're seeing the vein now.
Yeah. Damn.
I think what happened is I think you got something that's like a PAL copy that's slightly sped up, Aaron.
Sometimes, yeah, PAL versions of the DVD or Blu-ray, like they have different frame rates.
Yeah.
I've noticed that whenever we've done certain movies, like whenever I go...
PAL is like 5% faster, so you won't notice it at first, but as time goes on, it will get out of sync.
Yeah. I mean, it looks and it plays good to me. It's interesting. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
He's fucking sucking them
veins.
Yeah,
varicose veins on this young woman's stomach.
Well, Zach, tell me when you see the little toy tank, and that's when I'll jump back in.
We're past the scene now. We're seeing them driving.
Oh, you passed the toy tank?
Nah, the toy tank hasn't come up yet.
Yeah, let me know when you hit that, and I'll just jump back in.
All right.
Deposit it.
But like how the mom or whatever is like, oh, I'm going to take the dad to the whatever, the farmhouse to see if he remembers anything. Like, and the boyfriend was pissy about it. But to me, that was just like the sign right away is like the mom and the dad are going to go bang out there. Like, how could they not to? You know what I mean? Like, even if this wasn't an alien abduction story, that's just a red flag going up right there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know I'm jumping ahead here. At the very end of the movie, what was the fascination with her grabbing that egg and just, and obviously it jump scares and it gets her too, but like, why was she mesmerized by it?
I think you're just supposed to believe that even though it's like a little embryo thing, like it still has some magical power the way the dad and the kid did.
There was a different ending to, I guess they didn't like the ending, so they made a different one real quick. I read.
Yeah, the ending's kind of whack because it just definitely sets up a sequel, and then they make a sequel, and it has nothing to do with this movie.
I want to say I rented Xtro 3. When did that come out, by the way?
I think around 95.
Okay, because I think it was around 97. We rented Xtro 3 too, and this is back in the day where
Toy tank.
Toy tank, got
Toy
it.
tank.
Back in the day, isn't it funny when we were kids, you would just rent a part 3 before seeing part 1 or 2 or whatever. You didn't give a fuck.
You didn't care, yeah.
You'd rent whatever out of sync. I mean, I didn't watch the Halloween movies in sync. I probably saw Halloween. I think I saw Halloween 2 first. Then and I saw that on TV on that same creature feature we were talking about. But then as far as renting it, I rented 4. And then I think I saw the first one like after that. You never cared. Freddy was the same way.
Exactly. Now look.
Yeah, Xtro 3 was 95.
There's Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Tonight down on Union Street, I'm thinking back maybe to you and me.
We go down to the river and we lay down in the water.
Hell yeah. I love this scene too because like fucking he gets away from the tank, the magical tank that's driving. He gets away from it by putting like a blanket over it. He assumed.
And not even covering it fully either.
Ew, look at that fucker's teeth. Sorry.
He assumed that the fucking magical tank needed to see to know how to where to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's great is that he was right because it misses him.
I would be pretty scared by the tank just rolling out, like being like, who's watching me right now?
I'm probably a little ahead of you guys, but what was his logic of throwing the towel on the tank? Like, oh, now it won't see me.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Is that what you said? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes, right?
Dabo's in the cocoon right now.
There's no echo in here. Sometimes I just tune you out, Zach, but we're on the same wavelength. I'm just not listening to you.
He's throwing the towel on him right now.
Throwing in the towel.
Oh, yeah.
But But the little turd is still sticking out, so it could still shoot you.
And now there's a Jaguar in there.
Also, a Jaguar missing a tooth, if you notice, too.
Okay, no,
His bottom teeth are all yellow.
Did he have one of those Sega Jaguars or whatever they were?
Atari Jaguars.
Atari. See, he just fucking turned his Atari Jaguar into a real thing, and it was just a real Jaguar, I think.
That's right. Fun fact, I got my first job at McDonald's over the summer of 94 just so I could buy an Atari Jaguar.
Donk.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Not really. Like, I had to have it because they made an Alien vs. Predator game, but like the 3D games on there, I guess it was worth it because I finally got to play Wolfenstein and Doom. Doom was probably the one I played the most on there. But yeah, Alien vs. Predator ended up being a disappointment. I mean, you won't believe how hyped I was for that one fucking game. I bought like a $300 game system for one game. And the cartridges were like $70 back then. They were fucking expensive.
I didn't know anybody with a Jaguar. I knew my brother actually had a Virtual Boy. But anyway.
Wasn't
Oh, well.
Was Jaguar the first CD-based system?
It was cartridges.
It was a cartridge.
Oh, okay.
Later, like at the very end, before it went out of business, they did introduce like this little like plug-in CD thing on top
that's
that
what
flipped
I'm
up.
thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, but I never bought that.
And I think back when, bits were all the marketing thing, right? Bits really mean bullshit. But I think they were touting themselves as being 64-bit, right? Was that Jaguar?
Yep, 64.
Right.
Yep.
And it was just all marketing BS. It doesn't mean shit. But
it just proves though that 64 bits was not that good because Nintendo 64, like they had to put that aliasing effect on like all the games that made them all blurrier than shit.
Yeah, but did it have anything to do with the colors? Didn't N64 have a lot more color, like a broader palette than the PlayStation or whatever?
See, the problem with Jaguar and then 64 was they would have been good systems if they were doing 2D games, but they tried to do everything with that 3 dimension that made everything pixelated and shitty.
And that's just early 3D games in general. Even like early PlayStation games look like fucking pure ass, but their 2D games were great.
Do.
Everything just looks like a polygon in those early 3D games.
Yeah. Little boy drinking a milkshake. All his magic.
I'm watching the midget dump the fucking chum in the fridge or whatever.
Oh, that was the most disgusting thing that this midget, he has I think it's supposed to be like all the melted ice cream and shit, but it's so fucking gross.
It's kind of a random little thing. Like, okay, what is he doing?
Yeah.
I was going to say something on the game thing, and I fucking lost it. I hate that. Oh, I thought that was a fun thing you brought up. Zach, what was the first thing, because you're talking about McDonald's, what was the first thing you bought with the first paycheck you ever earned? Because you're a kid, you're going to buy something you just want, some shit you want, some dumb shit.
Yeah.
I think I saved up like for months, and I bought like an amp, like what was it? I think it was the PV Valve King 100.
Okay.
Head and cab.
And this was from a job you worked?
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't, I get it, you saved, but you didn't take like even $20 and go out and buy a movie or something and save the rest? You didn't spend a dime until you had that Valve King.
I might have. See, I remember like one of the. I might have waited till after I got the amp, but like, yeah, I remember like the first paycheck I bought, like just on random stuff. I got like I went to Amazon and spent the whole entire thing on movies, but like DVDs.
My first, technically, my first job was a paper route. Right, I was 11. I was 12, and then I was a little guy back then, and what they were expecting me to deliver was kind of unreasonable. It was a lot to carry, and I was kind of slow, but it really wasn't that. It's every time I went on my route, some older kids, some like high school kids would fucking steal my papers, and some dogs would chase me. That bullshit's real. You see in the movies, and so I had papers that just never would make it to houses or whatever. Anyway, I got fired after a couple of weeks. I got let go, and so I only got one paycheck, and it was just enough to buy the brand new released Mortal Kombat 4 on Nintendo 64. I chose 64 over PlayStation.
Wow.
And that's technically what I bought with my money. And then my first quote unquote real job was at Toys R Us when I was 16. And I put all I bought with my first paycheck was, because you're not used to having money. It feels good to buy your own food. You feel like independent. I went to the grocery store right next to Toys R Us, and I bought my own 2 liter of soda. I bought a big family-sized bag of Doritos, and then next to that store was a Best Buy, and I walked in and I bought Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure on DVD because DVD was kind of new at the time.
Oh,
Wow.
did your family eat your Doritos?
No, I hid them and I put them in my closet, man. If that's why I felt like a king. I'm like, this is mine. I don't have to ask permission. I don't have to go into the fridge late at night and sneak it. It was great. And I bought Bill and Ted, and I think my dad stole the rest of the money for crack. But that's another story.
Fuck.
But I had that.
Damn. See, you dropped these depressing things on us, and then we had to sit with that.
I remember like those jobs and not even having a bank account.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So like I would just give my checks to my parents and they would cash it for me when they went to the bank, and then I always just had the cash or whatever.
Oh, bro, you know what would have happened to me if I gave my paycheck to my dad willingly? The same thing that happened when
you would have bought crack?
No, the same thing that happened when I didn't give it to him willingly. He would take it and then he'd go buy crack.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Yeah, I didn't have a bank account either, man. I don't know. It was everything. I didn't care, man. Like if the rest of my money went away, I don't remember how much I could have been making. This is back when minimum wage, I think, was like $5.15 an hour. It was like nothing. So even if my paycheck was like $300, the fact that I got that $40 to myself and I got a couple of drinks, some grape drinks or whatever in a movie. I mean, the fact even if the rest of it got pissed away for whatever reason, man, I felt like a king. It was great because I never had anything.
Yeah, I worked at Toys R Us too, except I was like 27 years old when I did it.
Yeah, I was over it by then. I'm like, fuck this place. I wouldn't have did it.
Yeah, it was one of the worst jobs I ever had, if not the worst.
Hey Zach, you know how let's rewind. You know how like 20 seconds ago I was talking about I just felt like a king having my movie?
Oh yeah.
And my drink, and the rest of it could be pissed in the wind. I mean, that was until a week later when my dad would steal my copy of Bill and Ted and pawn it for crack.
Oh.
Fuck me.
And I'm not even...
She looks like Winona Ryder in that picture that he had.
She does, the dead girl.
Dude, I worked at Toys R Us when I was 15 or 16, and I actually had a lot of fun because it was seasonal, and, you know, like I said, I just wanted to get out of the house, like I said, and it was whatever. But fast forward, maybe when I was like 20, 21, I was working at this restaurant, and I wanted a second job. I wanted some extra income for the holidays. So I was like, you know what? I remember having a lot of fun at Toys R Us when I was 16 or whatever, and I got a part-time job at Toys R Us when I was like 20, 21, and I didn't show up after my first shift. I went to one shift, and a 4-hour shift there just dragged ass. I'm like, this sucks dick. Like, I can't do retail. Don't ever revisit anything.
Yeah, I don't even know how I survived on it, but I just grabbed Toys R Us. I actually started out seasonal overnight stalker when I first moved to Los Angeles. And I did that like all through the season. Then I got kept on or whatever and worked on stock crew. And then like the second year I worked there, I transitioned to cashier so I could get more hours, and that shit sucked. I worked in like the jankiest, it's like the Toys R Us that you see in the background at the beginning of Back to the Future. And that shit was like so fucking old. By the time I worked there was like no AC, no nothing. It was like 100 degrees in the store in the summertime. They made us wear these like heavy ass uniforms and pants and shit. I got like a whole like fucking crotch rash because I was sweating so much in that shithole.
Yeah, I was a cashier. It was just wall to wall people, like old people, just you know, buying toys or whatever.
Check this out. She's sleeping. He just starts fucking kissing her tits.
Yeah. The dad just comes in and starts having sex with the old mom out at the farmhouse.
He's like Trump, dude. He doesn't ask. He just takes it.
He just grabs it. Yeah.
Exactly. This, I always laugh at the scene too when she wakes up and realizes he's like having sex with her, and he just goes, "I'm sorry," and then he does the cum face. It's dank.
Yeah.
So do you live in LA still, or was that back in the day? Are you located elsewhere?
That was like, like 04 to 2011. And then I had to move to Northern California for my work because my office was closing.
Gotcha. I'm in Phoenix, so I'm not far from California.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Is it hot as balls there?
Not currently, but it's getting there, but it will get, you know, in our peak summer months, man, it's like 110 to 20 every day, 120 sometimes. And it sucks because
look at him.
What? Yeah. I can't look at him.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm at a different spot. I can't.
Yo, he's coming hard too.
He's just like, no, don't go. Let me finish.
But his face is like rotting off though.
Yeah. Like, imagine if somebody would, like, you wake up and some guy's raping you, and you're like, ah, and he goes, no, wait, let me finish. Would you go ahead and let him? Like, I wouldn't.
Would I let a guy finish?
Yeah, because she just kind of went for it and let him do it.
Yeah. No, if I'm not mistaken, I think Phoenix is like the sunniest city in America, and I live in the second sunniest city. It's hot as balls.
It's
here.
I mean, I'm sure it's the same way even in like SoCal, but we don't check the weather here because we just assume it's going to be bright and sunny and warm, right?
Yeah.
We have the monsoon season. You know, there's a period in September, October where for a few weeks you'll have sporadic like torrential downpour, but that's it. And it's kind of expected. But I don't ever look at anything. It's just always sunny. And I don't take it for granted, man, because I'm from the Midwest. I love it. And I, you know, people that are native here, you know how like natives are always going to complain about where they grew up. I don't care if it's the fucking greatest place on earth. I have both perspectives. I come from torrential, terrible winters, ice everywhere, just shitty seasons.
Yep.
Dude, I don't care if it's hotter than balls out here. I will take it no winter and no ice. Who cares? Because the back half of the year we get totally rewarded. It's like perfect. Like right now, all week it started heating up a little bit, but we're talking like 70, 75. It's still not bad. And then all throughout the winter, man, you got 30-degree nights and you got 60, 65 during the day. It's perfect. Summertime, the drop ain't nearly as much. It literally would be like 115, 120 in the day.
His fucking dick just hit the camera lens.
I wish I could see what you're seeing, but I'm ahead. I'm at the part where like they're outside and the dad looks like he's got shit smeared like G.G. Allen all over his body and he's rubbing his son's face.
Oh yeah.
And he's doing the face off. Like he's like rubbing the front of his face.
I'm going to take my face off.
Yeah, he does that thing where remember in what he does, he always does that thing to his son where he just puts his hand over his face and just pulls it down real slow.
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about, the face off, yeah.
Yeah. Why'd he do that?
I'm going to take
it's a little invasive. Like it's, you see John Travolta's fingertip just touch his like inner lip, like inside.
Yeah.
It's like you know that kid tasted that.
Like a fish hook.
That kid legit tasted whatever, you know, dude's ass John Travolta finger banged in between sets.
That's how you make a man out of that kid.
I watched a video.
John Travolta is a great actor.
Right before this recording, man, I watched a video. It was on Instagram of like John Travolta posted it because I follow him because he's fucking corny as shit. And
he's awesome.
He posted a video. He's like, here's me jamming with my buddy Pitbull at the Latin Music Awards last night. And I watched it. I'm like, what the fuck? And I guess if he calls it a jam, he comes out and he kind of dances in the middle of the song with some women. It's really awkward. It's just like out of nowhere, John Travolta, and he's coming out doing like the fucking Pulp Fiction dancing or whatever. I'm like, this is kind of cringe.
I'll have to look that up because he is, for my money, he's the most versatile entertainer in the business today.
See, that's funny because to me, we're seeing him do the face off right now.
Yeah, he's doing face off right now.
That's funny because to me, fucking, he was in Face Off with Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is the most entertaining actor going now to me.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
Like when that guy plays crazy Nick Cage, I'm loving it.
He's pretty much been stuck in crazy Nick Cage mode for the last decade.
Exactly. See, I'm excited for that new
Lovecraft
National Treasure movie.
Oh, it's like a Lovecraft movie coming out, right? What's that Lovecraft in?
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the National Treasure movie though.
Did they greenlight a new one?
I heard that.
Okay.
It'd probably be for Disney Plus.
Yeah. Dude, so I'm ahead of you guys. I'm watching the scene where they're boarding the spaceship, right? And they look all full aliened out.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
I thought it was a cop-out that he killed the boyfriend just by screaming at him. I wanted to see some better gore for that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were out of money by this point. See, that shot's fucking creepy. What the hell?
Yeah, the rotting face.
Yeah.
Where he almost looks like a jack-o'-lantern. He's so rotted.
Okay, so you guys are there now. It almost looks like something Tom Woodruff would have created, you know?
Yeah.
Like not unlike that Alien Resurrection weird hybrid thing. It's right. Awkward looking, but it's kind of cool.
But again, like this movie's awesome because like look at this like horror movie lighting in the woods and shit. Like I don't know, there's like something about how like over the top and goofy this movie is, but there's still like some touches of like actual good professional filmmaking within it, with it, like no matter how crazy it is.
Why is it so bright still? I thought that aircraft left. There's no lights anymore.
Yeah, we're seeing him now as the alien skeleton.
Oh, okay.
See, I wish
you could see him better.
I always assume this is just I assume maybe the aliens they watch us on Earth, right? So they probably watch us like as a reality show, and they were just like, hey, you know what'd be funny? That image is genuinely creepy. The dead kid there
holding the claw hand and all that.
Yeah. I always thought they were like, oh, you know what'd be funny? You know how we like fucked up their lives and took like their the husband? We should just go back down there and take the kid, and then we could just watch her be really miserable. That'd be funny.
Yeah, the motivation for why the aliens are coming, like I feel like they don't even need people really. Like it'd be different if they just came out and bred, but like they weren't really breeding, you know, except for the end where they show the eggs. Like he wasn't really like breeding while he was here. He was just kind of here to take the kid. Like why do the aliens need that kid? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's the motive? And we're seeing this weird panther again, which is kind of a weird, I don't know, almost like art house thing. Yeah. Like why the fuck is that panther there?
I just said, I think they watch us on TV from their spaceship. They got all the channels, and they watch us in our daily lives like a reality show. And they were just like, that would be funny if we took our kid too. Like, she'd be really miserable.
Yeah, having fun with it.
And then at the end, we'll kill her.
I like to think that's what they do.
Yeah, this looks really cool, man. Those eggs look neat. Like, they did a lot with a little, because I can't imagine the budget was very high.
We're looking forward to whatever you're talking about, Aaron.
I know. I'm going to say, yeah, in 5 minutes, we'll be right there.
No, it's when she's holding the egg in the tub. Are you guys not there?
No.
Oh, she's sitting in the middle of the field. I'll say it right now.
Holy fuck. I'm like 2 minutes ahead. You're in the next scene.
You're so far ahead. See, I think that would have been the best ending right there, just to fade. And it does fade to black.
Yeah.
Of just her sitting in the field. I think that would have left you on more of a downbeat. Like, oh, man.
They had to have that jump scare, man. They had to add that one more scene.
Yeah.
Bob Shea was like the king of like, we have to set it up for a sequel.
He was jerking off. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be shocked, just the way the stuff works, and that maybe they intended for that fade out to be the end. And they're like, you know, you need to go back and do another one. Yeah, just like, the Bob Shea and the Freddy thing.
I mean, they had to set up these, because Dabo was in a cocoon that at one point had a penis shooting eggs out of it. Like,
yeah,
they were playing in this egg shit, but it never really, even at the end where it kills the mom, it's never really going anywhere.
Just a mind fuck of a movie.
Yeah. Like, they built that awesome, like at the end, how they, I mean, I like the original alien, like, creature that first came down the beginning of the movie, but like, they had that awesome shiny black one. Like for that one little scene, they should have, instead of the panther, they should have brought back the shiny black alien. Like she gets sucked by the egg and then you see the alien like come out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Let me know when you guys are credits rolling, because my credits are rolling. I'm done with the flick.
Yeah, she's just picking up the egg right now. And that shit's like bursting.
Doesn't it look cool? I think it looks neat.
It's dank.
What's funny is like, especially this like high quality version, like it so looks like a balloon with like mascara or red lipstick painted veins on it.
Hell yeah, Blu-ray, they bring out the greatness of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like when a Blu-ray even brings out the shittiness of a movie. I like to see the strings and weird shit. It doesn't take me out at all, just because I mean, I'm a grown man. I know movies are fake. You don't have to take me out of anything. Right. I want to see how it's made. I like that sausage, you know.
I do like how the door closes at the end, though. That's like creepy.
Yeah.
They should have done that thing at the end where it says the end, and then they should have had a question mark pop up.
Yeah, that's what they usually do.
Oh, yeah, the end, ellipsis, question mark.
Yeah.
So stupid. Well,
now we're seeing it.
Yeah, the credits.
Ending.
So now, typically at this part of the show, we read questions. I'm not going to read questions this week. We'll read them next week, just because you're here and you wouldn't have any context to what they're asking, because they're always talking about old episodes.
Gotcha.
So we'll put a stamp on that. But what do you guys rate this flick? I think it's a solid 7. I think it's a good flick.
I give it a 7 too, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a 7 as well. Like I realized did like over 200 like DVD Blu-ray reviews on Hillbilly DVD reviews, and the most common review like thing I always put was like a 7, because like that's how you feel. Like these movies, like it's not a good movie really, but at the same time like you were entertained the whole time you were watching it. You know what I mean?
It ticks the right boxes. you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes a movie, you just get those movies that the story isn't great. It's not completely original, but something about the way it's shot, something about the characters, and just kind of the atmosphere of it kind of like intrigues you, and it kind of inflates it. Like, I like this more than I would if it was a movie that came out today and it was like all CG and stuff like that.
This movie would be ruined with CG.
Yeah. And one of its greatest strengths, like I said, is the fact that it knows when to check out. I think if this movie was 10 or 15 minutes longer, I would dock a point off of it because it's tight. Like I said, it's so convoluted in its own way, and it's got shit just thrown at the walls from every direction, but yet it's tight and it's fast and it's in and out. I mean, I don't know. It ticks the right boxes for me. What I like isn't what everybody else like. I give Mortal Kombat a 10. How do I enjoy it? I do. It's just, I have to be honest with myself. I'm like, you know what? Is this movie like amazing? Does it have great acting? No. Is it as basic a fucking point A to point B plot structure? Yeah. But you know what? Did I rent this movie about 500 times on VHS before we were wise enough to finally fucking buy it? And does it have nostalgia? Yeah, it's a 10 for me, right? So I don't really care. But this movie's a really, really good flick. I guess since we're not really gonna talk about comments this week, what do you want to go ahead and pitch, Goat, man? You want to just pitch your show? Tell everybody what they should be checking out.
Yeah, if you guys are on YouTube, check out Hillbilly DVD Reviews channel. We haven't done anything in a while, but we literally have hundreds of things on there. Me and my buddies drunk in a garage most of the time reviewing, pretty for the most part, pretty obscure movies, or at least cult movies that your audience probably like. If you guys need a podcast to listen to, you can go download one of the 75 episodes of the Movie Graveyard, and if anybody out there is like an old school listener, like you guys know Corey G, you can download those early Corey G episodes. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. It just
and they know Corey G because we've made the mistake of keeping his name alive like Freddy Krueger. We won't let his power diminish because he is in the air, and I don't know, he comes up from time to time. I like to think it's like a poor man's like whack pack. He's a whack packer that no one's met because he still comes up, and he's the bane of my dude. I don't know. Do you have any? Can we get trashy for a second?
Yeah,
do you have any stories?
Did you end on good terms with Corey G?
Because he tends to end on bad terms with everybody we found out. Like,
no. I ended up on great terms with Corey G, and still very occasionally text with him or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. We never had a problem. Just like, I'm sure to some people they probably think like there was some type of falling out or whatever, but like no, he just didn't want to do podcasting anymore, and it just got to the point where like, like he never like officially quit, but it was just like he just it just was harder to arrange recording times and stuff, so he just moved on to other things. That's really all it was with me. But I do remember him saying like back in the day, like I guess about you guys being like him saying like, yeah, like I stopped doing the show and all they do is talk about me now. I do remember him saying that.
Wait, when was this? That he said that?
Oh, that was like whenever we were doing the Movie Graveyard. Because even before that, there was a Hillbilly DVDs podcast for a couple years, and he did a bunch of episodes with me.
So I wonder if that was pre-Zach being on the show, because he might be talking about.
I think so.
Yeah, he might just be talking about when it wasn't just that he left. He kind of, I won't even get into it, but he did some shady shit. Anyway, of course, I think at the time, Riverman and Zach were probably talking about it. Like, well, because it was really fresh, but it sounds like he doesn't know about just like him coming up on occasion, kind of being the butt of some jokes. Like, I think he still shows up in memes Zach makes in his lucha masks and stuff, or he sends stuff all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, Notorious Corey G. His mixtape, I made that album cover.
If I would have to guess, I bet in a weird way, he probably, even if he did know about all that, he probably would enjoy it on some level.
Hell yeah. My love for Corey G still burns like the heat of 1,000 suns.
No.
Anyway, Zach, is there anything coming out on Mac and Zach's front? Save the world, anything?
We need to talk about it. We haven't recorded anything yet. We planning on it though, baby.
Okay, I'm sure there'll be a classic up on Monday, per usual. And as far as us, we're doing the same thing. We got this show dropping every Wednesday, every week. Zach and I, next week, you're going to see Cinema Enema. And Zach, what's the movie we're doing? Tell everybody.
Ken Park.
Okay, apparently it's something that is going to be shocking to me because Zach picked it. It's probably going to be something really fucking gross. I've never watched Ken Park. It's probably going to have a lot of gay shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because Zach's making me watch it. But other than that, that's all we got. The same old spiel. Definitely go check out Zach was on an episode with Goat here on Critters. I think that's a pretty cool place if you guys want to like transition and check out some of his stuff.
Yeah, we'll put all the links he wants us to put in the description of this video.
And Zach and I also, we like to say, if you guys want to support the channel, we finally started a Patreon. Ooh, we're with the 21st century. Nothing major. I mean, if you guys can't afford it, you don't have to just keep listening to the show. That's totally fine. But Zach and I wanted to give you guys some extra content. If you guys wanted to support the show, we'll have the links down there below. There's a couple of really cheap tiers in there that'll allow you guys some bonus shit, some bonus content, some bonus episodes. And we're always going to be open to feedback because we're just learning about it. So if you guys have any suggestions on things you would like to see us do extra, if it's within our means, we'll definitely consider it. Other than that, I think that's all we got for now. Same thing as usual. I don't know where you guys are listening. If you guys are on podcast services, we're everywhere you want to be. Leave us feedback, leave us a rating. All that stuff is like gold for us. It's going to help us gain exposure to people like you, and it's going to grow the old Revival family, which is great. If you guys are on YouTube, subscribe, share us with everybody you know. That would be great. Even your grandparents, I don't care. Even if they're like that annoying grandma looking bitch in this, she'll probably like us and all the stuff we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And notification bell, apparently you have to hit that thing. It's pretty stupid. But if you guys could do that, just keep on doing what you guys do. And thank you guys for the support. And we will see you guys next time. Any last words from any of you guys? Nope.
No, just thanks for inviting me, guys. And thanks for let me be part of such a great movie to talk about.
It was fun, man. I got to say, you kept everything grounded. Because sometimes when it's just me and Zach, man, we'll go off and talk about God knows what. And like I said, we should have started calling these not a commentaries, because if a movie's shit or if we just see shiny things, we'll talk about something totally. I think it's always entertaining, but it's not necessarily pertaining to the flick. I think the people that are frequenters for us, they expect that and they love it. But sometimes when we get those flybyers, right, that are new. Some people are like, fuck you motherfuckers, talk about the movie. I'm like, it's not what we always do. If the movie sucks, it's the movie's fault.
Well, if you want to hear somebody talk about the movie, listen, like not just trying to plug, listen to the Movie Graveyard, because I actually feel like we do the opposite. We do nothing but talk about the movie. So
100%. No, and I was checking out a bunch of your stuff too, and no, you're that kind of commentator, and it's great too. So that's why I thought you kept it grounded. We had a nice perfect blend of some storytelling, some callbacks, but we stayed on the movie. And it also doesn't hurt that it's a good movie. And it's because whenever the movie is talk worthy, we talk about it. It's only when the movie is a pile of shit that we have to, deviate or whatever. When we did the Ooey Bowl, Zach, how much did we only stopped long enough to make fun of some shit and make fun of Ooey Bowl, but we have to do something else. But anyway, that's all we got, guys. We'll chat you up next week. Bye puppets.
End of the week at the Revival House. Next month's theme, you gotta figure it out. Italian zombies or Pauly Shore, a slasher with a knife and the girl next door, and 1 second in, get it all queued up and ready, hit play in 3, 2, 1. Bye bye puppets, Zach Pete and a solo cut band. Couldn't this crew Cameron's loving, Josh and Scott failed and Riverman's babe. Bye bye puppets. Sounds good, like this country used to.